Welcome, and thank you for joining me on the Path of the Seeker. This is the third in a series of videos. In the first video, The Illusion of Separation, we examined the macrocosmic level of the creation. In the second video, Atlantis and the Fall, we examined the microcosmic level of creation. And now, in this video, Acceptance of the Self and the Shadow, we're going to explore the individual level of creation. Each level is a mirror that reflects one another, and they interlace together, but they are one singular pattern that repeats itself throughout all of creation. In order to reconnect with the Creator and experience oneness consciousness, or Christ consciousness as some people call it, we have to clear the little mirror of our soul and our conscious mind so that we can reflect back the full light of the Creator. And to do this, we must simply know ourselves. This process can be as simple or complicated as your conscious mind deems necessary. First, we need to know what really belongs to us and what belongs to other people. This involves analyzing our belief systems and how we react to our everyday situation with the question, does this belong to me? Too often we take on beliefs that are from our society, our parents, our educational system, or some religious doctrine that does not genuinely reflect what we know at our core to be true to us as individuals. We can go out and research this information until we are blue in the face, but knowing and believing information is two different things. This is why I say that the heart and the mind must become one and act in unison. The heart is in touch with the passive, subconscious, feminine aspect of creation. The conscious mind is in touch with the active, masculine aspect of creation. And it's only when these two are together that we can actually perceive reality in its complete form. That which we do not fully believe never really finds a place in the core of our being. After deep introspection, it is easy to identify what is truly something you believe in versus what someone else taught you was the only way. We must take this one step further in order to accept oneness with all that is. We must learn to love ourselves and not fear ourselves. This process is called shadow work. Just as there exists the unchanging potential of all reality, you too hold the potential of all existence. A lot of the suffering that I see comes from people rejecting some aspect of themselves. When we reject someone else, it's because we hate the part of ourselves that is like them. We walk around with what we think are deep, dark secrets, and if other people knew them, they would reject us. Well, not usually, and not if the people around you really love you. Love does not see flaws. It only sees beauty. For example, you may be aware of what you think is a big pimple on your nose. In reality, it's just a small pimple, and the people around you hardly notice because they only see you, not the pimple. The people who only see others' flaws are the ones that reject their own. That's one of the ways you can tell someone is operating from love, which is of the Creator, or the level of judgment that comes from the ego. For those operating from the ego, everything that is judged as not perfect is cast out because the person can't accept themselves. We can see that when people disown parts of their reality, they are disowning that part of themselves that they hate most within. The reality a person perceives is but a reflection of their inner state. If their inner world is chaos, they will perceive the outer world as chaotic. When observing this behavior, it becomes clear they lack self-acceptance, and usually in the area they deny or they try to control in other people. Often, when we can't accept a part of ourselves, we project that unknown aspect onto someone else as judgment and rejection. That's why you should be grateful to those who trigger you. When you're triggered, you know what aspect of yourself you are shoving into the darkness and into the shadow. We have the potential to be like anyone we hate and anyone we love. We have the potential to be the homeless bum asking for $1 so they can buy a bottle of alcohol to kill their pain. We have the potential to be a gangbanger that kills an innocent bystander in a drive-by. We have the potential to be the crooked politician. And we have the potential to harm other people. We also have the potential to become the guru, although these days I think those are pretty much disdained. but we have the potential to become the enlightened ones and to become the hero of our own stories. As far as the soul is concerned, because it's neutral, as long as we're having experiences and they're unique, that's all that matters. When we look at others and we see them as gross, disgusting, or hard to stomach, and some people have a very low tolerance, we disown that in our own way we see ourselves as gross, disgusting, or hard to stomach. We know this based on the Hermetic principle of as within, so without. There is always at least one person that has perceived us this way. To deny this is similar to denying our own existence. We cannot always please everyone or leave the best impression. All of us have bad days, and it's important to own that so you can build compassion for others. If we really loved ourselves and the nature of reality we live in, we wouldn't be trying to escape it or change it on a spiritual level. We can choose to relate to a person that is having a bad day. We can choose to hear someone's story and try to understand the decisions they made. No one is ever the bad guy in their personal narrative. We are usually the hero. Accepting our shadow and the potentiality of our existence, we can develop compassion and loving kindness toward ourselves and all of humanity. Instead of unconsciously reacting in fear and anger or trying to avoid our triggers, we can show loving kindness and patience. We can only possess this loving kindness and patience when we develop them for ourselves first. We can also learn to love our limits, because limits in our neck of the reality is what gives us our unique personality. It was only through the process of limitation that souls became unique. In the esoteric sciences, this is the Saturn principle, because Saturn was known as the limit of our solar system. We must admit to ourselves that we are not perfect, that this plane of existence isn't meant to be perfect or a utopia. We make mistakes, and we have bad days. That's simply just a part of reality. And the sooner we accept that, the happier and more peaceful that we will feel. When we forgive ourselves of these totally understandable issues, we can forgive all that we encounter instead of raging against reality itself. Once we forgive ourselves, we can experience at-one-ment within and stop running away or denying aspects of ourselves. If you wish, you can perceive everyone that you meet as an aspect of the Creator, and by rejecting them, you are rejecting yourself and the Creator, because you are truly one with them. And had you made different choices in different past lives, or even this lifetime, you could be them. Unless or until we accept and forgive all of our own faults, we will never believe that we are worthy to be in the presence of the Creator. This world was created to give us space to grow and individualize. Many spend their time trying to eliminate what they see as flaws. Yet no one is truly imperfect, just unique and limited by the constraints of the nature of the reality our souls chose. Who are we to argue with the perfection of creation? You can choose to believe that nothing is interconnected, that synchronicity doesn't exist, and that life as we know it is due to random, chaotic chance, as science currently tells people to believe. Or you can shift your perception and understand that you are never alone or separate from the creation or the Creator. That every act that you undertake sends ripple effects across the tapestry of life, composed of the threads each individual weaves in their own life. We may think that we are alone, but we cannot and can never truly leave the Creator, for we are all one. We focus on the trees, all of the details, never realizing that we never left the forest. To feel that presence, we just need to make that shift in perception to experience that oneness. At the same time, we are aware that we are a unique individual and we are spiritually awake to our divine nature. We can choose to align ourselves with the Creator and the natural order because our role in this play of light becomes obvious. We realize that trying to impose our will on any aspect of the creation that doesn't lead to more harmony within ourselves and others is fruitless. Nothing that the Creator wishes to exist will cease to exist, and all of creation is dearly loved. We are not the direct creator of this plane of existence. There are rules of limitation, and they exist for a reason. We can become a co-creator, willingly riding the tides of energy, filled with the wonder of the mystery of it all, eternally safe on a soul level, eternally loved, and eternally forgiven. When you accept all this, there is nothing to fear, because even death, on a soul level, doesn't exist. Our souls are eternal. They existed before this incarnation, and they will exist after. We are eternal beings of pure consciousness that will exist eternally, and nothing can harm us. Ultimately, we achieve harmony when we reach a point of balance within. That balance consists of many polarizing aspects. It is the conscious mind and the subconscious shadow, the active masculine intelligence and the passive feminine intelligence. Currently, the Earth is attempting to find a balance between the masculine and feminine after the age of Pisces, when the masculine principle, similar to the civilization of Atlantis, ruled supreme. Have you ever wondered why Atlantis has received a lot of attention in the media, with movies, but Lemuria is often forgotten? Now we are seeking to integrate the passive intelligence, the shadow and subconscious. With that integration comes respect for the natural order and a desire to preserve and allow that natural order to run its course. If a lightning strike burns down half of a redwood forest, we now know that it's because that's the only way for redwood seeds to open, and it actually promotes growth. That's why the balance point of non-judgment, of forgiving yourself, is so important. Each person that achieves this on the individual level will contribute that balance to the collective until we reach a threshold where it becomes common. Just as the term shadow work and the term woke has become common knowledge. Those of us at the forefront of the knowledge are the ones with the opportunity to influence the content of these ideas. No one really knows what's going to happen next. Humanity as a whole has gone through the process of alchemy on a collective and individual level. We've reached a point of coagulation, where what started out as a piece of lead has been transformed into gold, but we're not quite finished. We're at that final point where the finishing touches are being wrapped up. We're not quite into that golden age, and we might not reach it in my lifetime, but we are on the cusp of it, which is exciting. The polarization is happening as we seek that balancing point. Eventually, there will be a leveling off of the energies. That's when we will truly look at this world with new eyes. Alright, that's the end of this series of videos. I hope you enjoyed them as much as I enjoyed making them, and thank you, brave soul, for exploring this avenue on the path of the seeker.